I am Feel It.
And I am Fix It. And we talk about life.
And stuff and things.
With the occasional rant.
Which you will have no problem doing.
Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening or good night. Whatever it is, wherever you are, hope you're having a good one.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I got to change it up. Otherwise, I don't want anybody to think that the intro is, like
Pre-recorded?
It's pre-recorded, so.
Nope, never is.
Got to mix it up. Anyway, so there's that.
First, we'll apologize for last week. It just seems like we have excuses.
Yeah.
So, somebody had some hyperfixation, and there was a house project, that started a little later and took a lot of that brain power and that focus. And I just said, you know what? Just work on it. It's okay. It's okay. So we have an island now that you built, and it's an island / table. It's very, very nice. You did a great job. And yeah,
it works. It works all right.
I think it's very nice.
Yeah, I love the recursive rebates at Menards.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
But you were knee deep in the painting and the the mineral oiling, because it's a butcher block top.
Yep.
And
a big old butcher block top. Yep.
And then by the time we would have sat down to do this and be done and all the things, it would have been way past your bedtime. So
yeah.
I'm the one that said, you know what, just keep working, because I know it takes a lot for you sometimes to pick it back up.
It depends. It's like, I can honestly say I spent some time painting that thing almost every day this week. Unfinished wood. We kind of wanted to keep the wood grain underneath, so I didn't want to fill it. It's like, I didn't want to prime it and fill it and do all that. So it soaked up a lot of paint, and it took quite a bit to get it even.
Yes.
But it's not too shabby. It's not the kind of thing I do all the time. I can tell you everything that I could do better. But I'm not building another one. So.
Very nice, and nobody would know the difference.
No. I do, but that's okay. It's not bad. I'm definitely not complaining.
No.
It turned out pretty good.
You should not be.
No.
But it looks very nice. Looking at wall space. We have a lot of things that need to be hung.
This room probably has the least amount of wall space because it has the most amount of windows.
That's fair.
You got windows and doors taking up a majority of 3 of the 4 walls.
So again, we apologize for last week. We are okay. We are fine. That was the hyperfixation moment.
We're surviving the heat, and we're surviving the non-stop smoke clouds that seem to be, or almost non-stop smoke clouds we're getting from Canada.
We are in Michigan. We're actually in southern Michigan, so the UP, the Upper Peninsula, Northern Lower, much heavier than us. Hundreds of miles north, because from what I understand, the fires are like just across the lake.
Yes.
So I had UP clients that were showing me, like, their camera out the window. Like, I literally could not see across the parking lot. Mm-hmm. There really actually was an orange tint to the sky. That was Wednesday.
Yeah, it's nasty. It is those terrifying things that happen sometimes, unfortunately.
Excuse me. Wednesday was my first client told me they had ash on their car.
So did we, actually.
Moore talked to me about it
Not
Thursday,
nearly
and then
as bad.
Friday morning, somebody showed me that you couldn't see across the parking lot. They, northernmost points of the Upper Peninsula, I just can't even fathom.
No.
Because we're bad enough. Like right now, when we were driving, running some errands earlier today, at a spot that you would normally be able to look to the left, which would be north, going that direction, and see downtown 8-9 miles out, however far that is. You could see all the structures on a clear day. Today, it was non-existent.
Nope. Just disappeared out into the distance.
Very much that fog state. And yes, we had ash on our cars.
Yep.
Thursday night.
So you go outside, you get that hint of smoke. Like somebody a couple blocks over is running a smoker. And no, that is not the case. This is nonstop. It's been nonstop all day, every day. At work, it was weird because you see, we'll sometimes have small plastic fires and whatnot, or, just mishaps where material gets burnt. And you'll see a bay that has smoke in it. This was everywhere in the building had this haze nonstop. And it's disconcerting when you're one of the first responders to those kind of situations.
Probably not healthy, but that's another topic.
That's another topic entirely. It's like, but at the same time, what exactly are you supposed to do? We don't have a whole building filtration system. That's not what we're built for.
Well, and it's the worst year historically, from what I've heard from different sources. The amount of acres on fire.
It's absurd. And
then the way that the winds are blowing it, the coverage of that smog onto various states. We happen to be northernmost, so we're getting some of that next to like New York.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary, to say the least. When you get up and you look out and you're like, yeah, the sun is so covered, like I could take a picture. It was like one of those like...
Yeah, it's a great big orange ball in the sky that you can actually look at. Yeah.
Weird, strange, just strange.
So anybody out there dealing with that stuff, our hopes and prayers are with you. Stay safe.
Absolutely. If you happen to be in an area where you're dealing with that, forgive me that I was disconnected and didn't realize how bad it was until they said these conditions were coming to us, and I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
Forgive me. I don't frequent Canada. I don't frequent Minnesota. There's fires in Minnesota.
I saw a map of active fires currently, and this was a couple days ago, and it was effectively Canada. Canada is on fire. There was no province of Canada that did not show massive amounts of fires across the board.
Just absolutely frightening.
Absolutely terrifying. And that's going to have decades-long repercussions for the environment and people. It's, like I said,
hard to
hopes and prayers, man.
Yeah, hard to wrap the head around.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not dealing with that. It's like what I'm dealing with is annoying, but I don't have to worry about, my entire neighborhood disappearing.
No, I'll deal with the smell.
Yeah, it's obnoxious and we don't like it, but in the grand scheme of things...
Better than the alternative.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yes. So yeah, thoughts and prayers are with you. They're just absolutely extraordinary. And I understand it's just going to be on and off. That's the smoke coming back at us is going to be on and off for some time.
Yep. Just a matter of how the wind shifts.
We've also been dealing with, 100-degree days. Not as humid, but hot.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're managing. This is what they joke about Michigan being, and when the lake is bathwater, that's also pretty extraordinary because that takes a lot for Lake Michigan to become that. I can't imagine swimming in Lake Superior right now, given the conditions over it, but I'm sure some people are. I mean, there was all kinds of advisories to not be outside if you could avoid it in the last few days. So lots of my clients that had been camping or vacationing and all that stuff, like, oof, that's rough. Even right now, when we are talking about actually booking for a home next summer, and you're like, oh my gosh, all the what ifs and all the things. And,
yeah, you have no clue what it's going to be.
And then you're like, oh man, but I just want to dive in and just have a good time and just plan, because we don't do that terribly often.
No.
And we're already downsizing it from what we talked about to meet other goals, but we would both still like to go away. And if the compromise is the beauty of Northern Michigan over the beauty of Tennessee, don't get me wrong, it's just a little bit more expensive to take a trip like that.
Yes.
When we have financial goals,
it's more of a time sink. It's more of a labor sink. Tennessee was cool. Going back would be neat.
Good to know what to expect this time. Gatlinburg specifically.
Yes.
We would know what to expect this time. But I don't know. I don't know, given our other financial goals, if that would be best, and we could be just as happy inviting friends and family to come see us.
Yeah.
Up north, if they so choose.
If they so choose.
And then the year after, maybe we can plan on that big Gatlinburg trip.
It could be cool. We'll see.
The kind we're talking about. Yeah, that giant house to accommodate multiple people and people to come and go and or stay. But yeah, we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see.
We will see.
Just trying to think about next summer is hard enough.
Yeah.
Considering we canceled a trip for this summer to be able to purchase the home and do the things we did. But also I will be applying Tuesday for my full license, my full counseling license.
Woo-hoo.
I know. Kind of a big deal. It's been a crazy 2 years. Accumulating those hours and
that is no joke.
Learning those things and going through life at the same time, and unfathomable blessing. I am having a hard time wrapping my head around it. I should not, by all rights, with every diagnosis, with every struggle, I shouldn't be as blessed as I am, so to speak, right? If we're going to look at it with earthly eyes. But I am. I was able to report to my physical therapist the other day, the one that does my facial dry needling. I'm going to take a hiatus. We're going to see how I keep feeling. I don't know. There's different variables, right? Could it be a new home? Was there mold or something growing in the previous home? Maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think so.
Not as sensitive as our barometer children are.
Did going up 1 milligram of naltrexone make this difference? I don't think so. It did happen in the same month that I started taking the Zepbound, but I don't know. The basic research I've been doing says a lot of positive things about MCAS stabilization. So maybe it was just that next notch I needed. Maybe it was just that next step because the protocol had been doing wonders. I was happy with that, 75+% stable and good and functioning, but to feel even better, I don't even know what to say. I didn't think it was possible.
It's nice it's a nice way to be wrong.
I have yet to have a conversation with my neurologist or my MCAS specialist about it. I have been contemplating, how do I reach out? Because I'm supposed to have a Botox treatment in a couple weeks. And I thought, well, could we try to experiment? I don't know. I don't know, but I should probably reach out and find out. But anyway.
Yep. I
haven't said it out loud a whole lot. It's kind of one of those, do I practically know that it won't go away just because I say it out loud? Of course. But what an amazing possibility. There's a cost, but yes. There's kind of been a cost to my health care for a really long time. So.
Also true.
We just traded it for one medication versus multiple appointments and medications. But anyway, wanted to report that. The neuralgia, the trigeminal neuralgia, is virtually non-existent. I mean, there might be half a dozen times in a day, I might feel like some pressure, some kind of strange little jolt that barely makes the pain scale. Very randomly, especially with this weather, with this atrocious weather that we've been having for like the last month, that I haven't felt as awful, anywhere near as awful as I used to in this type of weather. Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And the only thing that's changed in my life was the Zepbound. This was the last thing I expected. When we talked about getting inflammation down, and we talked about, oh, there's the benefit of losing weight and strength training and all the things, and I was at such a risk for all these terrible things. Of course, I've known I've been at a risk for all these terrible things. Why do you think I've been trying so hard to find a way to manage all of it and take care of it? But here we are. Not just weight loss. That weird pain I was having in like my Achilles tendon area, that we were on the verge of like saying, okay, maybe it's time to like send you to a rheumatologist again. Gone. Joint pain. Gone. Now, that little tumble I took down the stairs last weekend, it was like 4 stairs. It wasn't a lot, but that hurt. That hurt a little.
Sure. One would think, yeah.
You were on the stairs. I just thought I could clear you. You didn't hear me ask. I know you didn't hear me ask you to move, and I just thought, okay, I got an arm full of stuff. I just woken up. I hadn't even gone downstairs. This was my first time going down the stairs for the day. And I just thought, oh, I could clear you. I didn't. I slipped. My foot wasn't quite right. And we have like the landing, right? You have like the half dozen stairs landing, go down the other way, other half of the stairs. So I landed at that landing. So I don't know how many stairs that is, but, yeah, I mean, big bruises that are quite sore and all that stuff, but like nowhere near as sore as I probably should be or could have been.
Entirely likely, actually, yeah.
I don't know. I'm in awe. But I wanted to report that because I officially had to tell a healthcare provider this week, I don't think I need this service right now. Let's wait and see. She said my facial muscles felt different. I said, yeah, my jaw feels different. Is it from not chewing as much? I don't know, because I'm still like eating small meals a day. So it's not that I don't chew at all. I don't know. I felt it, but it felt different. The needles going in and out felt different to her. Feeling the inside of my mouth felt different. Like, I don't know. I got nothing. But thank you for letting me report that. So,
sure.
You picked a thing, and I don't know, was this inspired a little bit by what we witnessed in the checkout line today at Trader Joe's? Not a sponsor?
I saved this like a week and a half ago.
So, here's the problem. I know when I started this, I had said, I didn't always just want this to be about mental health and all the things, and I was going to be able to compartmentalize and all that stuff. No, I can't. No, because
it's a problem with being educated.
It just, and then when you work more, and then it's in your face all the time, and then once you see things, you don't unsee things, and
yep.
We're in the checkout aisle today, and it took like 20 seconds for me to know that this little boy in front of us, that the parents were semi-quietly trying to deal with, they had 2 little boys. Mm-hmm. And one of them in particular, the mom, I assume mom, was telling dad, you can take, literally she said, you can take him out to the car anytime.
Yes.
This kid looked like he was vibrating out of his skin. He either ate a bowl of sugar for breakfast.
That was beyond sugar. That was like,
or he's neurodivergent.
That would have to be meth at this point. That's like, I've seen tweakers act like that.
But I was just like, oh my goodness. I mean, they were both a little bouncy, but the one that they were really struggling with, that kid, he could not stop moving, shaking, twitching.
No, he was like a bobblehead.
And I'm like, okay, if you don't know that he's got a thing, I'm not going to be the one to tell you he's got a thing.
No.
I couldn't even guess how old he was. Maybe 5.
Yeah, it's a guess.
Maybe.
Something like that.
The other one, not much older.
No.
but that was an interesting experience. I can't say, and not to say you don't see kids with behavioral things when you're out in public, but that one in particular bothered me because I thought, you think that is behavioral.
Uh-huh.
And she repeatedly had to, like, they're quietly going at each other, and they're right in front of us in line so we could overhear some of it. And he did ultimately take the children out to the car before she checked out.
Yep.
But you could tell he was annoyed as hell. And did I blame him? Not really.
No.
Not really.
No. It's like herding cats. You're just going to be frustrated, okay? It's just, nobody's going to be happy.
But somehow you just know, like, they don't know.
No. Did not get that impression.
There was no, like, techniques. There was nothing happening there.
No.
Not to say you always see that, because some people that do know just get fried out and exhausted. But you could just tell.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there for what it was. So then when I read your prompt, I was like, huh. Okay. Interesting enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to go ahead and read that?
Well, I will, but I'm going to preface it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. As a general rule, society is often described by averages, and the average is the viewpoint that this is what's normal, and everything outside of that is abnormal. Even though it might be 49% of the time, the abnormal is the norm. But 51% of the time, this is normal. So everything that's not in that 51% is abnormal, even though it's just 2%. And if you're of the 49%, and I'm not saying these are the numbers, I'm just saying for the sake of saying it, that if you're in the 49%, your normal is completely normal, and all you see is half the people around you who are just like you, then why is it I'm abnormal and they're normal when we're, like, splitting the difference? It's a viewpoint, and we get very fixated on specific viewpoints societally, and anything outside of that viewpoint is labeled. Of course, now we've gotten to a point where everything is labeled. If you don't have a label, it just means you haven't been diagnosed. But, you know, that's my little 2 cents. But, anyway, I read this and I was like, oh, okay, this is, like, it's like those stories where, you know, like, Cinderella from the witch's perspective.
Sure.
Turned into a small movie franchise. Weirdly enough. But from her perspective, she's not the bad guy. Because the bad guy never thinks that they're the bad guy. Except in poorly written books and novels. Anyway. But, with that kind of mindset, like, okay, I'm going to read verbatim what it says, and try not to stumble too hard. I'm autistic, which means everyone around me has this disorder that makes them say things they don't mean, not care about structure, fail to hyperfocus on singular important topics, have unreliable memories, drop weird hints, and stare creepily into my eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. Don't know that author, but you know.
Yeah, no. It's got a not a trademark, but it's got a little annotation there. But so it's
at ADHD Mike Coaching. There, we'll give you credit.
Yep, definitely give you credit.
Whoever you are.
Which I got a kick out of that because it's like, okay, yeah, why is that not considered most of that anyway? Like the hyperfocusing thing. Okay, I can see why that isn't. But like if you take just at face value, means everyone else has a disorder that makes them say things they don't mean. And we're not talking idiomatic language. We're talking if you listen to common conversations, there's a lot of things that are being said that aren't actually accurate. Oh, no, you look really good in that. What are you talking about? She looks really good in that. It's like it was fraying and crooked, and it doesn't fit her right, and it's the wrong color, and it makes her look sick. What do you mean that looks good? And I get.
Because tactfulness and politeness is different.
Well, you know what? You can be polite and say, you know what? I don't think that's your color.
Yeah. See, right there, you just proved it.
Well, that you can say that politely. You don't have to go, oh man, you look terrible. That is just awful. What the heck were you thinking when you do you have a mirror? That's just, but I mean, it's like, if you're asking my opinion, you know, I don't know if that's your color. It's a really nice color. It's a good choice, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it's a good choice for you. Because if you're asking my opinion, I'm assuming you want my opinion. Call me weird. And if you're asking my opinion, I'm going to give you my genuine opinion. If there's it's clothes and you look fine, you know, that's also valid. But there's so many problems. Like every Hallmark movie ever, one small lie turns into chaos eventually.
Yes.
So you can just avoid the chaos and just tell the truth. And I will, you know, there's some hills worth fighting on. And there is more love in a hurtful truth than a pleasant lie. Like I care enough about you to tell you the God's honest truth, and not lie to your face. Sure. If you're willing to look at somebody dead in the face and lie to them, you do not love them. You are not loving them. That is not an act of love. You are not sparing their feelings, because long term they're going to realize you were full of crap. When somebody who really doesn't give a crap tells them the truth, it's like, yeah, no, you look like death warmed over. You know, like, why would you wear that in public? Like, somebody's going to tell them, and they're going to realize, well, he said it looked good. Well, that person lied to you. They must not like you very much, because they let you go out in public like that.
Just wow.
Yeah. Well, and I'm being a little hyperbolic here, you know, but I mean, we all understand. You sometimes have to.
You're incredibly black and white.
You have to be very diplomatic in how you deliver to certain people in certain circumstances. I understand.
You're sarcastic. You don't jest, right? Like, all these years that I've just wanted you to, like, jokingly do that, hey baby, I don't even know, like, just to jest. You don't do it. You don't do it. You've never done it. And you know, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know an example, but just like a,
sure.
You know, when I like joke with you and like try to make your lips move on your chin, you know, I stick my thumb on your chin and try to make your lips move, like, you're the most wonderful woman in the whole wide world, baby. Or just, you know, just whatever. Just something fun, just something funny. You don't do it. You don't do it. I jokingly make your mouth move and say it for you, but you don't.
So I married an axe murderer.
Yes.
You're the best wife I've ever had. You're the best husband I've ever had. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
You won't. You never do. You can be sarcastic and ornery all day long, but to be like funny, jokingly in that way, you don't do it.
Because to me, that's not a joke. That's not something to be joked about.
But you don't just naturally say, I'm the most beautiful, wonderful wife you've ever had, or I'm the most beautiful, wonderful wife you could ever have. You don't say that.
You are most definitely the most beautiful, wonderful wife I have ever had. That is...
Oh, thank you for saying that now while you're being recorded.
That's 100% accurate.
So nice.
This is true.
Can't say I'd get you to do that otherwise.
The dog is saying hello. She's been very needy. You might hear her little floppy butt appendage beating the crap out of everything in the vicinity. Oh,
I hear clank, clank, clank.
Yep, that's her.
You were very black and white.
Yes.
Fail to hyper-focus on singular important topics.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's...
Really? Singular?
Like I said, we'll let that one go. I mean, because I don't think...
Unreliable memories.
Yeah, that is...
So you think you have a perfect memory?
No, but the stuff that I remember I can rely upon. There's certain things that just don't latch, they don't land. But there's certain, at other times, I can repeat verbatim conversations I had.
Okay.
Which you've seen me do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't pay attention to conversations nearly that much anymore because most of them aren't that interesting.
With who?
Like, with most people. Anyway, that's...
Okay.
That and my memory doesn't work the same way as it used to. Call it the tempering of age. You know, it's certain aspects of things I've been dealing with my entire life have been muted, either through age, maturity, or realization of what's going on. You know, but part of it though, for that this stuck with me is like I said, this is what we have decided is normal, and everything else is abnormal. And abnormal is often construed as wrong or dysfunctional. Now, autism, they put it on a spectrum so that they could use a singular term to cover such a vast array of symptoms. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I have opinions, but they're not, you know, it's like I can't really back them up. They're opinions. But when such a huge component of the population now fits on the spectrum, can you really call it abnormal at this point if a majority of the population falls on the spectrum?
Well, I can't say that statistic is entirely accurate. I don't know about the majority of the population.
Well,
I would say more recognized than it used to be.
Well, I can honestly say, I think that's
a pretty
been more educated. Statement. I don't know if I've ever met anybody that in some manner or fashion doesn't fall on the spectrum at this point.
I don't know all the characteristics off the top of my head, but that's something that has to be studied from a lot of different angles, as you should remember.
Yes. Oh, no. I remember. And again, I am a layperson.
Say that there's neurospiciness.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't mean
I think at this point, if you step back and look at the whole population and the whole thing, if someone was so inclined, they could take the DSM-5 and find something that fits everybody.
Fair enough.
So there is no such thing as normal. And if there is no such thing as normal anymore, then how is there any... If abnormal is the norm, then abnormal is normal and everything is normal. I mean, it's just this big circular, weird contradiction of crap. But the point was, if you look at it from the opposite direction, individuals that are dealing with specific, in this case it was autism, because there's certain aspects of autism that I think the entire planet would be much better off if they adopted some of the what is unfortunately considered abnormalities of the condition, such as the level of honesty that you're going to find. The desire for actual justice in a situation. It tends to be a very strong drive in certain aspects of thing.
Yes, you should know you have it, and you made one that does.
Yes. But there was hold on. I pulled it up because it popped into my head. And this is an old freaking reference. So it was an old episode of The Twilight Zone, the old black and white Twilight Zone. Yeah. Yeah. It originally aired November 11th, 1960. So that was 14 years before I was born. But it's a very famous episode that a lot of people would probably recognize. It was an episode called Eye of the Beholder. And it was an interesting episode because you never saw anyone's face. Almost the entire episode, up till the last couple of minutes. And it was the main individual in the story, their face is completely bandaged. You can't see anything. And you have all of these doctors and nurses, and she's gone through multiple surgeries to try and fix her face. Because her face is just grotesquely disfigured. And she's just trying to be normal and be like everybody else. And this is like their 11th attempt at the surgery to try and fix her face. And then they finally get to the point where she's healed up enough, and they're going to take off the bandages. And they take off the bandages, and it's a classically beautiful woman. And then it cuts to the doctors and the nurses, and they have these disfigured pig faces. Like pig noses, disfigured eyes, and just distorted features. And they're looking at her like she's grotesque. And it kind of fit along with, and it came to mind along with this because it's a matter of perspective on whether, the whole point of that was the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. If ugly becomes the new level of beauty, then anybody that isn't ugly isn't beautiful anymore.
Sure.
But since ugly is the new beautiful, then it's not ugly anymore. And it's a snake eating its own tail. But the idea that if you look at it from the other direction, individuals dealing with ADHD, it's like, why can't you just move on topics? Why can't you keep up? Why do I got to keep stopping and backtracking? That was interesting 5 minutes ago. It's not interesting now. Why can't you keep up? What's wrong with you? I mean, but if you come at it from the other person's viewpoint.
Yes.
The dynamic changes. If we stop looking at it as abnormal and normal, or neurotypical and neurodivergent, and start looking at it more as, they've got brown hair and they've got blonde hair. It's not. One of the reasons why it always bugs me when we put labels on stuff is that too often I've seen it used as a way to segregate and not understand. You say, oh, well, this kid's like massively autistic, so we're going to put him in that classroom over there with the other autistic kids. Instead of, what is this kid good at? If you use it for what it really should be for, it's like, okay, this person's brain works like this, which isn't the norm. How do we access that head and find out what's special about it and bring it up to speed? A lot of times it's not. No, they're. And I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to do any of that crap, but because I care too much about these people. But I had a cousin that was in the special education program because she had some serious learning disabilities. Some of them genetic, no doubt. Other ones I also have no doubt were purely a result of the environment she grew up in. But they failed her miserably. She graduated, couldn't read. Because they didn't spend the time to, she just had a label, so they didn't try. Mm. Instead of, she has this label, okay, that means that we got to come at educating her from this direction instead of this direction.
Which is the more appropriate way to handle.
Which I understand. Yes. Public schools, they have very limited in what they can actually do, and I understand that. And I'm not blaming any of the teachers involved or the school itself because, having known them, I've known a lot of those teachers. I've hung out with a lot of those teachers over the years. They're good people, and they want to try and help. But, I have thoughts on public education, and none of my thoughts revolve around problems with teachers. It's not the teachers. It's not most of the teachers. There's bad people in every field, unfortunately, but there are people that shouldn't be in the field that they're in every field. But for the most part,
yeah,
I've known a lot of teachers, and they're fantastic people, and they got a heart for what they do, but they don't have the tools and time necessary to do the job well, unfortunately. That's a different conversation for a different day.
Yes.
But I think societally, which starts with people, stop looking at the labels. Instead of segregating people based on a label, learn to communicate with them because of the label.
Mm. Yeah.
If you find out that this person moving in next door only speaks sign language, instead of just ignoring them like they don't exist because you don't know that, learn some sign language so you can communicate. Like if you got an individual that's more severely autistic and they're really into flipping trains and you're in their circle, well, why not take an interest in the trains and get a foothold into the door to find out the ways that they're unique and special that can be a benefit to everybody around them instead of just locking them in a room with their trains. Stop looking at them as being abnormal and more as like, okay, that's where there's diversity and inclusion is a big hot topic conversation all over the place. And it's not the diversity that's the problem. Diversity is a great thing as long as you have a diverse amount of, you diverse backgrounds, diverse thoughts, diverse opinions with a unified goal.
Fair. That's fair.
If you just, there's throwing a bunch of random ingredients into a bowl and then trying to eat it and taking ingredients and using them effectively, and you make a cake. It's like you have a unified purpose.
Yes, but not everyone has the mindset about.
Oh, this is true.
The unification.
This is true. Well, and I think for the most part, yeah. I mean, yeah. But then again, if you don't have a unified goal, then why did you show up? Just asking.
Okay.
Rhetorical question. Anyway, but. And we've had similar conversations about this. So it's like, again, I'm not a huge fan of labels as labels. I've never been a big fan of labeling. It's like, oh, well, this person's got ADHD and high functioning autism. It's like, okay, that's great. Okay, that's great. But stop treating them like they're just different and incapable, and use that insight to figure out how to take what their strengths are and where they where those things that are construed as a weakness can be put to good use. If you are really, it's like autistic people tend to really love structure. So put them in a position where that strict structure is part of the equation. Our daughter works at a library, and she works with the Dewey Decimal System, and there are policies and procedures and functions that have to be done a very specific way and put away a specific way and done a very specific way. She excels in that role. Like, terrifyingly excels in that role. Because you find that thing that can be a weakness and apply it as a strength. This is a parenting bit, but we've my advice to new parents that I often revert to is you don't define your child. Your child is defined by a combination of your genetics, which is your family going back to the dawn of creation, expressing itself in a very specific way. One guy put it as, it's like the shepherd doesn't create the sheep. The shepherd, but that isn't to say that the shepherd isn't important. The shepherd defines where it eats, where it sleeps, the structure it has, the fields that it can frolic in. It's like a parent's job is kind of the same thing. You can't, if your child is hardwired to be an engineer and you try and make them a pianist, you're going to fail.
That would be accurate.
Your job as a parent isn't to define what they are. They were defined by what they are at conception. The physiological and in many cases psychological aspects are expressions of genes from the rest of your family.
Yes. In particular with neurodivergence. Yes.
And then your job as a parent is to guide them in their strengths to make them stronger, to find their weaknesses and teach them how to mitigate them. Because a weakness, it's like for me, I'm going to use a food allergy here, but it's like I'm allergic to peas. No amount of anything that you're going to do is going to make me less allergic to peas. Even though time has made me much less allergic to peas, it's still miserable. Anyway, but what you can do as a parent is teach your kid where peas are located in the entire food production, everything, which they put pea in a lot of crap.
They do.
Teach them how to see it, how to spot it, how to avoid it, and what to do when you get exposed anyway. So you can't get rid of that weakness, but you can teach them how to avoid it. So your job as a parent is not to turn them into a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or a wife or a factory worker or whatever. Your job is to find out who they are and help them become the best version of that they can be. Some kids will never excel at school, but the minute you get them out of school, they're unstoppable. Other kids excel in the school, but once they get out of school, they don't know what to do with themselves, because school and life is two very weird things.
They can be.
Yeah, often are, but yes. And I think in the same way, I think getting a label speeds up the process of deciphering what you need, or how, the language you need to speak, the behavior you need to exhibit in order to get through to your kid to help them become the best version of themselves. Now, again, huge spectrum there. There's people who may never be functional, but you can still help them to become the best version of themselves. And if we stop looking at all of stop looking at it as if it's, again, neurodivergent kind of implies there's something wrong. It's not a right or wrong. And coming from me, it's like that's a statement. It's not right or wrong. Sometimes it just is. And you accept what is, and then you figure out what you're going to do with what is. And sometimes if you come at it, I am well known for being able to play devil's advocate in a situation.
You are.
Pretty well. I've practiced it a lot. And I did it, and it became habit because I don't see the world, especially when I was younger, I didn't see the world the way everybody else seemed to. So I stepped out of myself and try to see it from from other people's viewpoints.
Which you can do very well. Sometimes that black and whiteness.
I've had a lot of practice. But we tend to do that. We tend not to do that with people with neurodivergent issues. To you, it's going to the grocery store. To that neurodivergent kid, it is a million points of chaos. There's all of these bright colors just everywhere, and all of these different noises and different music and different people, and oh my gosh, there's a dog over there, and then it's look at that yellow flower. It's there's so much going on. They're overstimulated to the point where they can't focus on anything. It's well, did you look at it? It's to you, your kid's being a little spaz. To that kid, there's so much going on, he's trying to take it all in. Does that mean that kid's doing something wrong? No, you put that kid in an environment that was rife with overstimulation. Quite literally, sight, sound, smell, color, light, touch, because, free samples.
Sensory.
Yeah, you got this huge sensory overload, and you expect your kid to sit still? Look at it from his point of view. It's you turn on, you put yourself in the middle of 50 TVs, turn them all to different channels and crank the volume all the way up, and then try and have a conversation. It's that's what that's the situation you put that kid in.
Where I struggle, it's funny, is sometimes it's easier to work with adults that have this concern about themselves and want the diagnosis and want to learn better for their marriage, for their parenting, for their life, than it is to deal with maybe that teenager that already knows. Sometimes it's because it's more about the parent. I only have one client that directly right now is the autistic individual who is lower, we're going to say, in capacity in some of the functioning and comprehension than the other one that I have, an adult, a dad, a husband, and we're certain going to be diagnosed. He just went through the battery of testing.
Good times.
But they call it a spectrum for a reason.
Yes, they do.
So, sometimes the parents are harder to deal with. It's harder for them to understand because for whatever reason, they're struggling to accept or acclimate or whatever.
Well, I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying before. A lot of people think they build the sheep. It's you don't build the sheep. As a shepherd, you don't build the sheep. The sheep is what the sheep is. I think there's an aspect of it is, what did I do wrong for my kid to be messed up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I get that a lot.
And there's a couple of really nasty assumptions in there that just aren't true. One, that you did something. It's the genetics that made that child are the genetics that made that child. You had no conscious control over that whatsoever. It's not on you. The next part of that is that your kid's messed up. Your kid's not messed up. He's just not like you. He's his own unique, complete individual.
Which would be the case with or without autism.
Exactly. With autism, you've just got an added hoop to jump through to understand.
I still struggle.
Yes.
And we have had the diagnosis for some time, but lived with it her whole life.
Well, I'm not saying it's ever easy. I'm not saying...
I still struggle. Like
Yeah.
today, when she walked up to me and wanted to know if I wanted to help pick out some of her new organizational stuff for
Yes.
her room, because she'd mentioned getting rid of this pink trunk that I bought her forever and a day ago that
Yes.
she loved. And yeah, it was a moment of sadness when both my kids wanted to get rid of this thing. But like...
Had a long time.
Oh, and speak of her, she's home.
Speak of the munchkin. Yep.
She took that at much more literally and empathetically than
Sure.
I had intended.
Sure.
She mentioned something that was said by a guy that she'd gone on a couple dates with and decided she'd rather, like they were in the same friend group and gaming group, and she didn't necessarily know if she wanted to follow his lifestyle. He's going to inherit a farm. And
farming is a life.
And she had said something he had said about parenting, and I just said, and her concern being if they'd had a child that was neurodivergent, like how would he, would he say the same thing? And I was like, well, hold up. You can't judge him now for something that he may or may not say, because we all, number one, think we're going to say certain things as a parent that we don't.
Yep. I'm never going to tell my kid that.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah,
I also said I'd never be a yeller like my dad, and that's exactly what I did. And second, you don't know what your child's going to need or not need until you have one.
Yep.
So,
and you're going to be surprised by it every stinking time. You can expect anything.
It's understandable that you'd have these valid concerns, since she has the struggles. But
yes,
it's that
that is
the
one
literalness.
There, yes. Well, and the building up scenarios that haven't happened. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you can stop. There are times when the imagination runs away. It's like, okay, you know what? That's one of the things you have to kind of learn for yourself. But as a parent, try and teach. It's like, okay, you're letting your imagination run away. Did any of the things that you say, are they likely to happen? Well, no. Okay, they're not likely to happen. One, you're not having a kid with them, right? Well, yeah. Okay, then you can knock that one out of the, but it's really easy for that imagination to just off the rails. But yeah, no, there's certain things you have to learn about yourself that you're only going to learn about yourself when your kids show up. And you're stressed.
Truth. And
they're driving you bonkers. And then it's very easy, if you're paying attention, to find the worst aspects of yourself that you didn't know existed.
All of that said.
We
come back over to the autism.
But.
Squirrel.
It's a squirrel moment, but at the same time, relatable. Those moments are where you grow. You either grow the most, or you turn into the worst version of yourself instead of the best version of yourself. But, anywho, back to what I was considering the point of the whole thing.
Yes.
At the beginning.
Which was and I want to point out, I apologize. I decided a few weeks ago, it's because I'm still living the struggle, that I didn't know if this was best for me to continue on as the specialty, so to speak.
Sure.
In counseling. So when I felt more and more called to geriatrics, I still do. And I still think that I'm going to be faced with these same situations, chronic illness being one of my specialties, but also neurodivergence. And then how about dementia and neurodivergence? So don't worry, I won't escape it.
No.
But
Oh, unavoidable. If you're dealing with people, it's unavoidable.
it will be in a different realm.
Yes.
Because right now, if it were only chronic illness or we're only neurodivergence, I don't know how well I'd do. Yeah. And I'm just being real with myself.
Sure. That's fair. That's fair.
So that's kind of my game plan is still to move into geriatrics.
That's cool. I mean,
it's going to take me a bit.
Sure. Yeah.
So to get some of the certifications,
any kind of specialization is going to take some time, but no, that's very cool to hear.
We don't know what the future will look like.
Not in the
We have no idea. And it's exactly because of what you say here. This is our daughter in many ways.
Sure.
Your prompt is our daughter.
Yeah, and I
There's
relate.
No denying this.
I relate to it quite well myself.
Because you are.
Yeah, like I said, I relate.
You are.
Yes, but I relate. But like I said, kind of my point was, all too often we look at the non-neurotypical as other, rather than turn it around and come at it from their point of view. And if we did that, I think more often than not, we'd come away with much more understanding in a situation. If there was a little thing I saw, we'll probably wrap up with this kind of thing, but it was a guy's wife went blind. And he doesn't know what to do, and he's in his house and he bumped into something and he realized that's a sharp corner. Oh my gosh! And he started going around the house. He blindfolded himself and then started walking around the house, and everything that he bumped into and everything that he tripped over, he fixed. He rounded corners and he took things up. It's like he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to help. He didn't know how to support. And then he stopped for a second and came at it from her point of view. It's like, I think it's it's one of the 7 habits. Seek first to understand. It's one of the keys to communication. Well, I think it's the key to a lot of things in life. It's like if you can. Like, that little kid we were talking about. Mm-hmm. It's like you first seek to understand, why is he vibrating? Like, oh look, we're in a room with a billion colors,
like legit,
like a billion colors and 1,000 smells and like 300 people and music and voices and dings and bells and people walking by and plants and food. It's you have a small child that I have no doubt has a little bit of an attention issue.
There's something going on
and
there.
Then you put him in a location where there's a billion things to pay attention to, and his brain doesn't know which one to focus on. And it doesn't matter how much you go, look at me. It doesn't. His brain is not hardwired to go, yes, mama. But again, if you turn it around, it's like, and come at it from the other individual's point of view. Try and see it from their perspective. Look at in this case, they took the basic autism symptoms and reframed them as if they're the norm. Why is it normal for lying to be okay and not focusing on your job? And all of those little things. It's like, why is that the norm? Well, come at it, if you look at it from the other person's individual, they're just as confused. It's entirely possible anyway, that they're just as confused by your weird behavior as you are by them. And if you look at it like that, you're going to come away with a much better understanding on how to move forward.
Fair enough.
And in a lot of cases, it doesn't have to be neurotypical people. If you're just dealing with somebody and you're butting heads, come at it from their point of view. Try and put yourself in their position. See the situation you're in from their perspective, and then reapproach it. Like, oh, okay, all right.
Not always easy to do as a parent.
No, it's
and
not.
And maybe you need to reach out for some guidance on that.
And you probably should. But, I mean, you're never going to be 100%, but if you take that moment to try, you're going to be better off in the entire situation. And if you're married, you really need to, every now and again, just stop and recalibrate. It's like, okay, she's mad. Turn around. Okay, what did I do? Like, what is in her head?
Careful now.
No, I mean, it's like, okay, she's upset. Something I did. Let me like, oh, well, I did that instead of that, and she was expecting that, so now okay. All right, you know what? Yeah, all right, you know what? I dropped the ball. I wasn't thinking at it. I wasn't thinking about it the way that you had thought about it. That's on me.
Every once in a while you'll own it.
It all happens. You gotta own it. If you realize you goofed, you gotta own it. But anyway. I made my point and then kept going. But like I said, it's like if you come at any situation where there's difficulty and try and see it from that other point of view, legitimately, you're going to be better off.
I think so.
And you're going to find you're going to be more likely to find a good solution to an issue.
Yeah.
When you also include or prioritize the other person's position.
It can be incredibly helpful, yes.
Just saying. But I've been jabbering for a while now, so I think it's time to call it a day.
Jabbering. Okay.
Jibba jabba. Could you jibba jabba?
Okay. Well, not too far over.
Nah,
okay.
I think we're fine.
Okay.
Well, they haven't not let me upload yet. So I think we're good.
Fair.
Anyway, with all of that, I am Fix-It.
I'm Feel It.
We hope you join us in the future.
Until next week.
You'll all have a great one.